All right, so this is for exercise 2-1, where we're going to create a VI that simulates a temperature reading in Celsius. But rather than a range of 0 to 100, it's going to be -10 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. We're going to use an indicator to show the temperature data. Now, in order to do this, we have to make some changes to the formula in order to get that range. So we're going to go to File. Let's do New VI. I'm going to put these side by side. Going to go ahead and drop an indicator in here. When you're at this stage, you can just go ahead and type over and then click outside. Don't press enter, otherwise it's going to create another line. I am going to increase the size of this just to make it a little bit easier to read. Okay. If you need to change this, you can just right click on this, go to properties, and then in the label section, you can change that. Right. So now we're going to go to our block diagram, and we're going to enter in the formula in order to shift that 0 to 100 down to -10 degrees to 25 degrees Celsius. First, let me just increase the size of this again, just to, I'm sorry, not this, but to zoom in actually. So let me just zoom in, make things a little bit easier to see. Move that over here. Okay, so we're going to go to numeric. We're going to drop 3 functions. We're going to drop the random number generator. We're going to drop in the multiply. I'm entering in the sequence of how the formula is going to work, and then add. All right. So this is going to generate a value from 0 to 1. So it could be 0.1, 0.2, etc. So from 0 to 1, infinite number of possibilities between that range. So this is something that's just going to generate that value. So I'm going to go and shift to my connect wire. I'm going to connect this to the X position of the multiply function. Then I'm going to create a constant of 35. Move that down. Okay. It lost that connection, so I just went back to connect wire, and I can just drag it to the Y position there. That's set. So any value generated here from 0 to 1 multiplied by 35. Now I'm going to do the connect wire to the X position of the addition. Going to create a constant of -10. Move this down. Okay, not connected again, so I'll make the connection manually to the Y position. Now I'm going to connect the add to the indicator. Okay, so here we have a number from 0 to 1 that will be auto-generated, multiplied by 35, and then -10. That way, it shifts that range from 0 to 100 to -10 to 25 degrees. So if we go up here and just click on Run, you'll see it does the math. Okay, so you can see that in action. Now, the next step is let's save this. In the documentation, I kind of have this towards the end, but let's save this now. So we'll do save. I'm going to name this Ex2-1. I created a folder for this, so you can save it wherever you want. So click on OK. So I've saved my VI. Now I need to create a sub VI. So go back to the tools. I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to go to edit and create a sub VI. Notice the icon changed. I'm going to double click on this and it opened a new front panel, which is currently untitled. Now we got to change the icon according to what the professor wanted. So we'll go here and make sure you're in the sub. Notice that there's another one here in the main VI. That's not where we're going to change this. So we're going to use the selector tool to delete the default image in there as the professor wants. He wants text in line 4 and in line 1 and in line 4, red color, which if you don't already have red, you can click on that and then notice you already have that stuff in there. That's done. Click on OK. All right. Now the next thing is that we want to convert this into a 2-pane. So we're going to go to patterns. So I right click, go to patterns, clicked on 2-pane, right? The orange means that this indicator is a DBL data type. Not important to understand what that is other than it's getting data. That's it. The other thing is, notice that it's highlighted there. That means that the connector, what we normally see to connect, is on the right. So this would connect to something else. If we wanted to change that position, so say, for example, you wanted the connector to be on the left, which means then that this would receive a connection as opposed to make a connection. What you can do is you would go to your wire connector there and then just click on the pane. Now, this is a 2-pane, what they call a 2-pane terminal, right? We're doing only what the professor wants. You can create multiple. We're just sticking to what the professor wants. We don't have to make any change to this, and we'll see that this is correct in the subsequent exercises when we're using this. Okay, so we're done with this. Nothing else that needs to be done. So that's it. Let's go ahead and save this. Notice that in the file name, it already has sub VI. Keep that, because that way you know that this is the sub VI. And I'm just going to name it Ex2-1 sub VI, just so that I know that this is the sub VI that will have to be used in subsequent exercises. And just for good measure, I'm just going to do save again. And that's it. We are done with exercise 2-1.